Hi, I'm Wes Reeve. I'd like to say I'm from a book called The Wheel of Time and I live there, but I live in LA right now.
You're so unique. A lot of your inspiration comes from like fairy tale, Disney, like Japanese animation.
Yeah, Ghibli, whatever, Miyazaki. That,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
guy.
What inspired you to like start creating music like that?
That's actually really funny that you talk about that's the first question because I've always loved fairy tales. Like I've always read them, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, the movie.
Yes, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is like honestly, it's too much sometimes. How like, it is. It stresses me out. Like I'm like, oh, I wish I could create something like that. And the music and everything about it is just. But
You look like you can be an elf in the movie.
Lord of the Rings, when you're doing the Amazon series, I'm here.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, your music too. Oh, it's gonna happen.
I mean, I've always loved those. I feel like I read a lot as a child. I was like allowed to read a lot. I was allowed to read a lot of fiction books, and so I was just obsessed with them. And then when video games came out, like Zelda, I just played Breath of the Wild, and I literally didn't leave like the screen for 2 months. It was so beautiful and so immersive, and that's something that I really loved about books and movies and TV shows and games is that they can be like their own world that you're in, and when you're there, like that's all that kind of matters. It's like real life isn't really a thing when you're playing Zelda or when you're watching a movie. And my producer the other day though, and he's like, yeah, everyone knows you love fairy tales, but like why is that your brand or your vibe now? And then I was like thinking about it, and we were talking about it, and I realized that a lot of it is because I want to feel like one of the main characters in a book. Like I want to feel like the hero in this adventure. That's kind of like what I made my brand around is like I am now the heroine in like this book that's Wes Reeve, and I'm kind of living out my fantasy through that. My love.
Definitely take me on a journey with your song. Ever think about wanting to do like a soundtrack for like a video game or something?
Like thinking I'm in like the way early stages of making a music video game.
Oh,
So it's like one of my favorite things is like literally all forms of art is so exciting to me. To make a game like Zelda, like maybe one day when I'm kind of like done music and I'm still doing it, but to make like focus my attention on a video game like Zelda is one of my goals, or like an animation studio like Ghibli, like just like you can spend all this time just working on the little details, which right now I'm putting into music, but I'm definitely have all these ideas of like pushing all these artistic things together, like you know video games and music and making a video game. I know I've seen little ones like phone video games with music, but I want to make like a legit one, which would probably be tons of
also
money.
like your single artwork. Like it's so, I mean, it's very beautiful. Do you come up with it? Do you have someone that you work with?
That's actually an interesting story too, because when I first started, Honey I was my first song, and I had this idea for what I wanted the cover art to be, but I was like, I don't really draw, like I'm not really that good at it. So we hired people to do it. We hired someone to do it, and she was really good, but it did not fit my vision at all. Like the flowers were too realistic and everything. I was just like, this, and it cost like a good amount of money. So I was like, I'm just gonna try to do it myself. And then ever since then, I've just been doing all of them myself, and it's been really fun. And I'm really having a lot of fun with it because I just know exactly what I want. Like it helps me build the world a lot more than if someone else was doing it, because I know what this world looks like to me.
I didn't realize you're so talented. Like overall, like you really are so artistic, and I like it. Like you kind of teach yourself, and I'm fascinated by artists who are like super passionate and authentic. And I feel like your music and everything just kind of exudes all of that. So it's how were you as a child? Like, was it easy for you to be so real and authentic with yourself? Did you stay true to like you and your music? Because I know this industry can maybe pigeonhole certain people and everything. So
Yeah.
how do you like stay true to you? And was it
When I was younger, I was like super insecure, and I didn't really I love my grandpa so much, but he was like music isn't a career and all this stuff. So I was like, I liked it, but I wasn't gonna really pursue it. And then my dad actually is like one of my, you know, biggest proponents, and he sent my music to the college I was going to, and then they accepted me into the music program. And that's when I started realizing, like, oh, I kind of like this, and other people like it, and I'm having fun. And then my partner too, he's been a really big influence in my music, and he's always helping me find producers to work. I always had this idea of being something different because I like pop music, but my inspirations were always so different. Like the Beach Boys, their song in Pet Sounds, you know, Good Vibrations is one of the craziest songs. It's just, when you listen to it, it's just like, what is happening? And then all, you know, Simon and Garfunkel too, like I feel like they just go off on another wave. So I always wanted to, those were always my inspirations, just to be like different and stand out. It took a while though. I met with a lot of different producers, and I feel like it wasn't always like working. And then one day I met my producer Miles, who's my producer for everything. And shout out to Miles. I met with a lot of people through my lovely ASCAP reps. And a lot of them were like, this is cool, but it's too weird, or it doesn't fit, or it's not pop enough. So, but I was just like, I personally don't think it's a good idea to go full pop. Like, how are you even gonna get anyone's attention as a new artist just doing what is normal? So I just was like, I don't trust your advice. And then I just kept doing it, and I finally met with my current label right now. It was like, I love the music. I love it just as it is. And then he was like, you can use my studio. So before we signed, me and my producer, we were using a studio, and we're like, oh my God, the stuff is so weird that we're writing. He's gonna hate it, and it will be hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so weird, he's not gonna get it. But then he heard it, and he was like, I love this. And we're like, okay, fine, we'll work with you.
You trusted your gut.
It took a long time though. There was times when I was like, should I do this more pop way? Like, this person's so well known and they could really help me. But then I was like, I feel like that's just not what I want. And I think it took a long time for me to realize, because I'd been working so long as a musician, like in college and all those things, I knew what I wanted. I didn't necessarily know what I want, but I knew what I didn't want. And so that's what helped me be like, this is not right.
Why do you feel like the world needs music in the arts?
Oh, you know that quote, the earth without art is just eh. That's how I feel. The earth without art is eh, and I don't want to live in an earth that's eh. A lot of people can be passionate about art, and there are people that are passionate about law too, and all those things too, but I feel like in some ways everyone is passionate on some level about something artistic, like whether it's finger painting or, you know, scrapbooking, and a lot of people don't follow that, and I think more people should. Just kind of, it is a risk, and it's not always immediately rewarded, but it's internally rewarding. And I feel like it's something that the world would be so sad without art. Oh my God, I would be sad. I'd make my own colony somewhere. No way.
Is there a dream band or artist you'd like to open up for or collab with?
Let's see. I would love to collab with Rostam, because I was obsessed with Vampire Weekend, like growing up. I still am obsessed with Vampire Weekend, and just his production I feel like is one of the more unique pop productions, and so I feel like it would fit. I mean, Lana Del Rey, love her. Who doesn't? And I really like Leaky Lee as well. I'd love to.
Me too.
I love Leaky Lee. Leaky Lee, like Dance 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 is one of my favorite songs, and I just love I love the feeling of it. I think I like a lot of like unique pop, you know, not more interesting. Don't want to offend anyone, but more my vibe, anyways.
Yeah. What would you like to accomplish as an artist? I mean, right now.
Eventually, I want to bring my music into its own kind of world. Like maybe write a book at some point. I'm definitely thinking about doing an animated album as songs, and like that video game. Just really, music is one of my favorite things to do, but also all like these other things, like building a game and writing a book connected to the world. Maybe not my book might be a little separate, but like the video game and the like an animated movie, like a long animated movie would be really cool. But I really just want to make a world where people feel like it's safe, and well, maybe not safe, there might be danger, but
Yeah.
a place where people can escape, I'm so thankful for the books that I read, because it's like a really nice place for me to escape. I feel connected to the characters, like, oh my god, I cry, I laugh, like, so going to a place where I can make that for other people.
Beautiful. Any advice you'd give to any aspiring artists, or any good advice you've received before you want to share?
One time, from a guy I was working with who was really pop and I was not pop, he said something about, like, you can't get in someone's car if you're going different directions, like, you can't let them drive. So I think that taught me that, like, if our ideas are too different, like, you just, even if it seems like a good opportunity, it's just like not really gonna work. So that made me think, like, it made me put myself and my ideas first and go with that, like, just believe in what I want to do and not just like work with people, because I mean, a lot of times the opportunities are so like alluring. It's like, oh, but this person worked on this, and but if they don't understand what you're doing, it's not the right move, is what I learned. So I guess a word of advice from me would be, I think, just take time to realize what you like and what you want. Like, meditate on it and like really think a lot on it, because there are so many opportunities in LA and New York and everywhere that can turn you into something else. And if you don't know 100% what you want, then it's really easy to get swept up in that. So I'd say just take time to think about things that you like, things that you want to do, and what you aspire to be, even though that's hard. But that's what I try to do on a daily basis.
So nice to meet you, Wes.
Thanks so much for reaching out.
Of course.
Happy fall.
You too. Bye.
I was once a